Hi, and welcome to Introducing Jobvite, a starter course on Mercy Corps' new talent acquisition system. My name's Sam Finizzi. I'm on the People and Strategy team, and I'll lead you through a short introduction of what you need to know as a hiring manager to get started with Jobvite. This is an outline of what I'll be going over today. I'll discuss why the change to Jobvite, then getting started with Jobvite as a hiring manager, candidate shortlisting, interviewing, finalizing your hire, then we'll wrap up and I'll give you some next steps. So why did we make the switch? As many of you know, our old system was pretty old. It didn't have a lot of great features. It didn't have mobile access, it had no social media integration, and a terrible UI. Jobvite has all those and more, well, except for a terrible UI. It's mobile friendly, so applicants can use their mobile applicant portal to apply to jobs. Hiring managers can use their iOS app to review applicants sent to them by recruiters or to provide feedback after an interview. And recruiters and hiring managers can access their mobile website on their phones or tablets. It is a great referral system called Jobvites that allow you to generate unique short links that you can then share through social media or email with interested colleagues or friends that might want to apply to a job at Mercy Corps. It also has a publishing system that allows you to link it with your social media accounts. Then you can automatically post to such networks as LinkedIn or Twitter positions at Mercy Corps. They can be filtered by location or by department, so you can really focus on posting the positions that work directly with you. It also provides a method for us to centralize our feedback. Gone are those days of ad hoc systems using Google Docs or email and things getting forwarded around and not sure what version. Now, after you review a candidate or have an interview with one, you provide your feedback through a form in the system. That form is then shared with the recruiter as well as the other hiring managers on the team. It allows us to have one place where the feedback resides, rather than it being scattered all over the place. It also has great candidate relationship management features. Sort of an esoteric sounding term, what this means is that recruiters can build talent pools for hard to fill positions in certain locations or in certain departments, say Francophone candidates in certain parts of Africa. Finally, it integrates with Mercy Corps Europe, allowing teams in both Mercy Corps Europe and Mercy Corps United States to use the same system. That's really helpful. Allows us to share candidates and to share information. It's pretty great. So, step one, getting started with Jobvite. You should have received an invitation. If you haven't received one, you can always talk to your recruiter and they can set you up in the system. You'll receive an email invitation that we'll go over shortly, which will prompt you to create a profile. Then, once you've done that, you can authorize apps and activate Jobvite. And we'll show you what the system looks like when you first log in. This is the email you'll receive from Jobvite inviting you to use the system. It has two links indicated by the A and the B. These links both go to the same page. When you click on one of them, it'll take you to the system. It'll prompt you for a few pieces of information, such as your zip code or location, as well as your time zone. Make sure to fill out your time zone, as this is used for scheduling interviews. If you put in the wrong time zone, you could find that you're getting interviews scheduled at inopportune times. Once you've created your account and logged in, you'll see this page. This is the dashboard that everybody has. It looks a little intimidating, but don't worry, it's really not that bad. There are a few main sections. The first main section is section A, as highlighted by green or as flashed on the screen. This is the section that shows all your current open requisitions that are assigned to you as a hiring manager. It has a requisition title as well as the candidates and the number of candidates rather, and what stage they're in. You can click on any of these numbers to see all the candidates in that stage. Section B, indicated by the purple, both in the middle left and top right, is your sort of to-dos. It'll have your pending evaluations that are overdue, as well as other evaluations on jobs that other people are filling out. Finally, in the top right is a calendar. Under each date that has a little red dot, you'll see if you click on that date, you'll see all the interviews or evaluations that are scheduled for that date. You can click on any one of them to go straight to it and get more information about the candidate. Section C, in yellow, is the section that has quick shortcuts to both sending a Jobvite and to referring a friend. You can click on Send a Jobvite, which we'll cover shortly. That'll prompt you on what jobs you want to send one to. If you hit Refer a Friend, click on that. It'll prompt you for a few pieces of information as well as their resume. Then you can attach it to a specific requisition, put in a comment for the recruiter, and hit Submit. Gone are the days of having to chase someone down and send them an email. Finally, there's section D, indicated by red. This is a section that is all the open requisitions in the organization. You can look through all of these, you can apply if you want, and then looking at the little triangle symbol on the right there, that's to send a Jobvite specifically for that requisition. One last part is that little yellow circle at the top, indicated by the red arrow. If you click on this, it'll have a little drop down, and you can click on your preferences. This is where you can attach social media accounts to your profile, as well as customize your time zone again, or look at various other features. Here we'll talk briefly about Jobvites. When you click on any one of the links that sends you to selecting a Jobvite, you can then click on the left-hand side, any of these check boxes next to a job, and then click up on the right, next step, and that'll allow you to send a Jobvite for that job. Once you do that, it'll take you to this next page. This page is the page where you can select what social media networks you'd like to publish it to. You can also figure out if you want to send it to an employee, to your social media networks, through your email, or just get a link that you can cut and paste. They're all at the top. It's pretty self-explanatory. Don't worry, we'll have another training to go into more detail about this. We just wanted to show it to you briefly so you're aware of it. Now I'll talk about candidate shortlisting. First, I'm going to talk briefly about what's different. In our old system, you used to receive one email for all shortlisted candidates. In this new system, due to how it works, you'll receive a unique calendar invite for each shortlisted candidate. That invite will have a link to provide feedback on that candidate, where you can say yes or no and provide questions for the interviewer, the recruiters, to ask in any follow-up interviews. It'll also provide automatic reminders of when you need to get back to the recruiter by, and now the feedback's attached to that candidate's profile, as I said, rather than being passed around back and forth. So let's look at the email that comes in. This is the email/calendar invite you'll receive whenever a recruiter sends along a shortlisted candidate to you. It's pretty straightforward. You can see the date that they'd like to get your feedback by up at the top here. Then you can also see this link in the middle, indicated by the A, where if you click on that, it'll take you to the evaluation form that we'll discuss shortly. Indicated by the B are links to the system that'll show you more candidate details. You can view the resume, you can see the job description in case you need a refresher, or you can see any attachments that they've provided. Finally, at the bottom, their resume or CV should be attached. If you click on that, it'll open like any other attachment. So once you've reviewed all this, you click on this link, and then you'll go to the next page and you'll be able to give feedback on this candidate. This is the evaluation form that you'll be prompted to fill out when you click on that link in the email. There's a few areas that we've highlighted, as well as one additional area that I'll highlight without a letter. Section A is where you provide your feedback on the candidate. It's required on every candidate. Section B is where you can put any areas you'd like the recruiter to follow up on in their interview. C is a drop-down where you can select whether or not you want to move this candidate forward to an interview, and when you're done, hit D. If you've ever come to a point where you don't remember much about this candidate and would like a refresher and don't want to go back to your email, you can click their name up here at the top, and that'll take you to their profile page. There, just click on Application, and you can see their resume right there in the system. Once you hit Submit, the recruiter will know whether or not you want to go forward to interviewing this candidate or not. Once you do that, we move on to the next stage, interviewing. Interviewing is similar to our old process. The fundamentals haven't changed. The first interview is still managed by the recruiter. They'll schedule it by sending you a calendar invite, just like they probably already did. And then the only thing that is new is the post-interview evaluation. We'll go over this, but instead of providing your feedback directly over email, you'll log into the system again and provide your feedback in a similar web form to what you just filled out. Interviews done after the first interview are done in a similar fashion as they were done before. It's up to the hiring manager to schedule those interviews with the candidate. The recruiter will send another calendar invite with a rough deadline, as well as a link for an evaluation form. When you've completed any follow-up interviews, you'll click on this link and submit the feedback to the recruiter. Then they'll know what candidates you want to go forward with for the hire. This is the email that you'll receive from the recruiter when they schedule that initial interview. It's similar to the email that you received about reviewing the candidate. It's actually a calendar invite. In Section A, you can see the time of the interview. Section B has that link that you can click on when the interview is done to provide feedback about the candidate. And then Section C has those links that provide more information in the system about candidates, where you can see those candidate details, such as their resume, the job description, any additional attachments. Pretty straightforward. Once you've completed the initial interviews for candidates, you can click on that link back in the previous email, and this will take you to the evaluation page for that candidate. Here in section A, you can write in your summary notes of how the interview went and what you think. And then section B, you can decide whether they're appropriate for the position or not. Then you hit submit and the recruiter will be notified. This will prompt them to send you an email about scheduling any follow-up interviews. The follow-up interview emails will look similar to the initial ones, except that they'll say follow-up interviews. This will have the same sort of calendar invite, except instead of specifically being when the interview is taking place, it's a rough deadline that we have just to keep the interview process moving forward. You'll be responsible for scheduling those interviews, and then when you're done with all of the interviews, you can use the link in that email to provide feedback on the candidate. Click on the link, and you'll go to a similar evaluation page for the initial interview. Fill it out, hit submit, and then the recruiter will know what candidates you'd like to go forward with. Once you finish the interview process, we move on to finalizing your hire. With the finalist candidate, the process is pretty similar. References, there's no changes. The recruiter will touch base with the candidate, collect the references, and provide them for you. If they're satisfactory, we move on to approvals. There's a slight change in that the approval request is generated through Jobvite, and it's sent to each approver in order. We'll go over what the approval email looks like and a little bit more about the process, but otherwise it's pretty similar. The offer, there's no change. The recruiter makes a preliminary soft offer, and then once it's accepted, they pass the candidate off to HR for the hard offer. This is what the offer approval email looks like if you are a job offer approver. It's pretty straightforward. It has all the information that used to be in the old emails. Now it's just generated by the system. When you receive it, you'll notice in section C is where all the information is. It'll have location, compensation information, and other details. Section A is where you can click to go to that offer in the system. The neat part is section B. If those details in section C look appropriate and you're ready to approve it, you can just click approve right there. It'll generate a new email, it'll give you space to put your comments in, and you can just hit send. And then it's approved, and the approval moves on to the next approver in the chain. If you're the last approver, it goes to the recruiter. Once it's finally approved, the recruiter will make an offer to the candidate, and if they accept, move them through to HR. So that's the system from the perspective of a hiring manager and job approver. So let's wrap up. So the new features again. Jobvite's mobile friendly. It has a Jobvite function that allows you to create short links that you can share over email or social media, and we'll have some more trainings on that feature shortly. And it has a referral system that allows you to upload colleagues or other referrals that you have through the system, attach them to a position, and send a note to a recruiter. There are some new actions you need to remember. You need to remember to click on the link in the calendar requests for the shortlisting review, the interview evaluations, and then finally for the job offer approvals. This is really important. Don't send an email as we want to track everything through the system. So what are the next steps? If you haven't already, sign in and create your profile. If you don't have an invitation, contact the recruiter that you usually work with, and they can create you one in the system. There are also additional resources available on the Hub and in Jobvite, and we'll have additional trainings that will be posted in both the Hub and the Globe. Thank you very much, and have a great day.